Hey there, everybody, and welcome to a CLNS Patriots Roundtable. I'm Alex Barth. He's Mike Petraglia. We're talking the rule book today because it's been altered yet again. As Adam Schefter tweeted out this afternoon, football as we know it is being drastically changed, and that sure seems to be the case. We've got new tackling rules, new catch rules, a rule that was not changed that affects the Patriots. We'll get into that a little bit, but let's talk about the catch rule because that's first and foremost here, Trags. Survive the ground is out. Perform a football move or the ability to do so is in. Did they actually fix the rule or did they just move the problem?
I think they fixed the rule because I think it gives the referee more opportunity to interpret it on the field. Here's my big thing, Alex, about instant replay, whether it's the catch rule or what have you. When you put the decision in the hands of the officials, the players and coaches are better off because they don't want the sense that these games are being decided by some arbitrary set of eyes in New York, in Manhattan. And with the catch rule, to me, it moved away from a common sense, yeah, that was a catch. He had control of the ball. He made a movement forward to, well, he didn't necessarily survive the ground. Did he become a runner? Was he a runner? Was he a receiver? And it became this convoluted rule. And I think what the NFL, Al Riveron, has tried to do as director of officiating is tried to simplify the rule. Certainly, as he had acknowledged in his own press conference, will it create possibly more fumbles? Maybe. But what he's tried to do is make it simpler for the guys officiating the game. Those officials are really charged with an incredibly difficult task of trying to make calls on these players on a huge field moving at incredible speeds. And I think trying to simplify one of the simplest elements of the game, catching a football, I think is a step in the right direction. And I like the change to try and simplify it. Obviously, there'll be some bugs to work out as with any rule change, but I like the change.
Yeah, see, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I know that people said the old rule was confusing, but I just think people didn't like it because at one point it screwed over everybody's team. It certainly did. But to me, it was defined. You knew, even if eyeball test, it looked like a catch, you knew what was going to be ruled a catch and what wasn't. It seemed pretty clear to me. This, to me, it seems like
Alex, not to cut you off. But I think fans want officials saying on the field, yes, that was a catch, next play. I absolutely 100% believe that because fans, what the NFL reacted to, rightly or wrongly, was this wave of anybody watching that game knows that was a catch. Why are you overruling that? That's why this became such a big deal. And I think what the NFL is trying to do is appease to those fans and say, look, okay, we heard you and we agree with you. Common sense dictates if an official says that 3 conditions of a catch, that complete a catch were met, they were met, move on to the next play. That's what I think the NFL was really getting at.
See, and look, I know this is what most NFL fans want, but when it comes to me, I get, damn kids get off my lawn about this. I wanted a concrete rule. I don't want any interpretation. I want it called the same way every single time. And I am fine losing a few maybe catches to have a consistent ruling. Now you're going to see a lot of fumbles. I think you're going to go the other way and see things that really shouldn't be a catch be called a catch. That eye test or not a catch be called a catch on the field.
45 or 50 years, Alex, and nobody had a problem with it. Then look, a lot of this has to do with the evolution of instant replay. And,
of course.
And my quick soapbox moment about the instant replay is the following. The instant replay was brought into sports, and particularly football, to overrule obvious errors. What's happened is they bastardized instant replay to break down the catch to microscopic detail. That was never the intent of instant replay. And I think the NFL also had that in mind when they instituted the plan to try and simplify what a catch is.
And I'll agree with you on that 100%. Replay has been totally overworked. Has anybody asked Bert Emanuel how he feels about this, by the way?
No.
That's what I'm waiting for. You can Google that if you're under, I don't know, I'm 24, so if you're under 24 years old, you can Google that reference if you don't get it. 99 NFC Championship?
I think that's right.
98 or 99, Tampa and St. Louis.
Tampa, correct.
Tampa, yeah. Anyway, we move on to the other rule that we're going to talk about in terms of on the playing field. This one's written a little more vague, and this one more people seem to have a problem with. And we're still waiting on the definitive. We're still waiting on the definitive layout of the rule, but it sounds like players will be penalized not just for leading with the helmet like we've seen in the past, but just lowering their head into contact. Now, there's a whole rant I want to go on, but frankly, Matt Chatham would know better than me because he's a former player and did a much better job of it on Twitter. So check Matt Chatham out on Twitter if you want a player's thoughts on this. But this to me, and it's been a joke for years that the NFL is eventually going to turn into flag football, but this is a major real step towards that. This is going to change the game. And look, as somebody who likes textbook fundamental football, we're going to learn the difference this year between the guys who can actually tackle and the guys who can just hit. And fundamental tackling is going to become that much more important. But when you go to the offensive side of the ball, and when you get down on the goal line, what are we going to see 22 flags on every play? It's a natural part of football is lowering your head. And this is in reaction to the Ryan Shazier play. But even
Absolutely.
people said at the time, that was a freak thing. That's going to happen. Injuries like that, it's just football. Serious injuries like that, they're rare, but they're going to happen no matter what you do. This seems to me like a gross overreaction.
So I asked Matt Chatham about that in one of our Patriots Beat podcasts. And he said, actually, what the NFL is trying to do here is not necessarily going to be that helpful because what you are trained to do as a football player is naturally lower your head. And you get injured when you try to hold your head up. And I think that was a fascinating point by Matt in that the natural progression of an athlete or a football player leaning forward is to lead with your shoulders or your head. And to try and to keep players from doing that now, they're going to create instances of hesitation and actually create more injury. And he is, as you mentioned, he went on that Twitter rant. He is very insistent in that regard and was with me when I spoke to him about it.
I think that rant's honestly still going, but yeah, you go back, you look at plays. I was watching some tape the other day. Alan Branch against Buffalo. I don't remember if it was McCoy or one of the backups, but McCoy comes through the hole. Branch is getting blocked, and he just sticks his arm out to grab at McCoy. McCoy ducks his head, and he gets him by the back of the jersey, makes the tackle. Good play. Now, if McCoy keeps his head up, he runs full speed, throat level into Alan Branch's arm. That doesn't seem safe to me.
No.
Unless they're going to have every player out there in a neck brace as part of the uniform, I don't understand how you can play football like this.
And you know what, Alex, I understand the Ryan Shazier injury and reacting to it and the knee-jerk reaction, but really, was there any groundswell to get tougher with targeting? There was no groundswell beyond that one play, that I felt this year covering the NFL and covering the Patriots. I just didn't get it. And to come out of the blue and make, football essentially, it is going to turn into flag football because everybody's going to be running upright unless you're going to call a flag on every single play. It's ridiculous, I think.
And look, if they want to add something for egregious headhunting like they have in college football where you get thrown out of the game if you do it once or twice, I'm fine with that. But at least what it sounds like, until they clarify, we're going to go with it.
There's going to be clarification.
If you put your head down going into the hole, you're going to get flagged. And then as Tom Curran said on NBC Sports Boston today, we're going to see a lot of first and goal from the 17-yard line this year based on the way this rule's written. But we'll see.
There's no way. I guarantee you, Alex, right here, right now, in late March 2018, that rule is going to be strictly enforced the way it's written. I just don't see it happening.
We'll see. Hey, it's part of our job to overreact. It's part of the fun. It's one of my favorite parts. So we'll enjoy it while we can. One more rule that did not pass. This one affects the Patriots. Trags. We were actually on the night that Josh McDaniels pulled the Colts on the Colts, right? Remember, Colts bolted for Baltimore, went to Indianapolis. Josh bolted out of Indianapolis, came back to New England, and the Colts put forth a rule to try to prevent that from happening. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but whatever it was, it's not going to be a rule. So the playoff coaching hiring system, which isn't great, and I think we can all admit that, will be the same going into next season.
Not only did Bill Belichick make an impassioned play before the committee to not allow this to happen, because he doesn't want, this particular case, Josh McDaniels actually being under contract with another team preparing the Patriots for a playoff run. I mean, that is an incredible conflict of interest. But the irony of it all, I think, is the Colts also voted against this. They wanted it tabled, and they would have benefited from it. They would have had Josh McDaniels technically under contract. And, that is just, I think that gives you some indication of, the confusion with the rule and how the NFL owners still have a lot of issues to work through with regard to a particular assistant coach on one team, a playoff team, having opportunities with a non-playoff team the next season.
Well, we'll see what happens. We got kickoffs possibly on the chopping block next year, and then new CBA. So it's going to get real interesting at these owners' meetings the next couple of years. But we'll have you covered through all of it here at CLNS. I want to remind everybody that this roundtable was brought to you by Hims. Guys, thanks to science, baldness is now an option. But you got to know, it's easier to keep the hair you have than replace hair you've lost. How do you do it? Well, start off by visiting forhims.com. That's forhims.com/report for a $5 trial on their hair restoration kit. But you got to sign up while supplies last. So get on that now. forhims.com/report for the $5 trial. We'll have more coverage leading up to the draft. All things Patriots, all things NFL on clnsmedia.com and at Patriots CLNS on Twitter. You can give us a follow there. So for Mike Petraglia, my name's Alex Barth. Thanks for watching. Rules are always the same here. Talking football. We'll see you next time.